Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
So we are officially live
Awesome.
with our Talkin Tiki night. Maybe our moderator Greg could let us know. Here we go. Here's the chat. Wait now. We have Matt. We've got Bonnie from One Drink, Three Bars. Sean, hello. Hello. Thank you for coming. Stefan's here. Hello, Stefan. Let's see. Daniel James. I met him at Tiki Caliente. Super fun. We've got about, let me see, I can scroll through here. So Andemos from far overseas. Wow. Thanks for joining us. Wow, thank you so much. Let's see. He may not even be there anymore. We don't know. Talk amongst yourselves. Introduce yourselves in the chat, if you will. We're just going to let a few more people hopefully pop in just a second. I'm going to have some water here real quick. And you good, Dave? You got everything you need?
Oh, yeah. I think we're all set. Yeah. I was just doing a final checklist. I think we're good.
Look at your cute little lamp. That's so cute.
Yeah. Awesome.
So Matt says that he is drinking the Witch Doctor's Brew, which I just put out yesterday, kind of a Jungle Bird riff. So that's a good question. What's everybody else drinking? Is anybody else having something to drink? Let us know what it is. And I really like that Witch Doctor's Brew. As I said in the video, I'm not great at eggy cocktails. So when my channel first started, I did a lot more eggy cocktails because I was doing a lot of gin cocktails. And then it slowly, turned to rum and tiki. So I'm not doing as much of those. So my next step is probably to get some foamers. Do you have any experience with that, Dave? With a little dropper foamers that instead of an egg white?
Not really. I've just gone the traditional route with making eggy cocktails. Yeah. Yep. I almost made that cocktail just last night, and I remember being like, "Dang it! I needed to save the eggs for something else, so I had to bail on the Witch Doctor, sadly."
Your breakfast for this morning?
Yeah. Gosh, you just made one the other day that, as I told you already, I put it in like my top 10 return recipes. That was the one that has cinnamon syrup in it. I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. You probably know it. It was like 2 episodes ago for you.
So we had the undead. Was it the Undead Gentleman?
That's the one. I'm like, it's the one that isn't the Devil Wears Pineapple. So, that one I think is killer. Yeah. Yep.
That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Super duper good cocktail.
Good.
Yep.
Let's see. Stefan says he's sipping on the Devil's Own, a classic cocktail from the 1930s. Yeah. I just saw that one. Just recently somewhere. So I'll have to put that on my list. Telling us, is anybody else having anything to drink tonight? Later, Sean, Dave and I will be making a cocktail, probably towards the end, with vermouth. So save some of your vermouth because you'll need it. So this is Dave from Cocktail Fridays. I am Anne, the home bartender. Of course, we're streaming from my channel, so you probably already knew that. But I just wanted to start by saying thank you, everybody, for coming. And Dave, let's see. Hi. I wanted to know, how did your channel get started? What was tell me about that.
What was the genesis? As a sort of a unique story. Basically, so I'm outside the world of cocktails, I'm a character animator for various studios, and I was a long time DreamWorks animation animator. And when I was there for many years on Fridays, I would sometimes build a little tiki cocktail menu and take over one of the kitchens there, and I would open up like a pop up bar, so to speak, with me as the bartender. And
Huh.
I did that for a couple of years there, and we sort of started
Wow.
to nickname that event Cocktail Fridays, a very straightforward name, and so when fast forward to when COVID hit, there was a production that we were about to start on called The Bad Guys, and the head of animation on that show apparently had been looking forward to me doing that for his production. And so he was super sad when he's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that we're going to have to make this movie from home. And we're not even going to get the Cocktail Fridays." And as a joke, he said, "You're going to have to make an instructional video so that the rest of us can just do it." And of course, in my mind, I was like, "Well, of course I'm going to make one now." And actually, the very first episode that is on my channel, what is actually the unedited version that I made as a joke internally just for DreamWorks. So it was a video that
Oh,
was only sent within the company, and I like that's the only one I'm going to make. And then my boss thought it was he thought it was funny that I went actually and made it. And so he was like, he's like, "You got to make another one of those." And so I think like 2 or 3 months later, I made the Jungle Bird episode. And then after that, he was like, you got to make a third one now. And I remember thinking like, well, if I'm going to make a third one,
yeah.
I'm going to migrate all these videos now onto a dedicated YouTube channel. And then we just kept going with them. And so me and my wife, that we produce these together now. And that's it. That's where it came from. And then it's probably why the name, like the name of the channel is again a very, very rudimentary name, but it's sort
It,
of stuck that way.
so
So
it makes sense to you.
yeah, it makes
And
sense to me
it is a
exactly.
great name,
Yeah,
you know.
it's fine. It says exactly what it is, I guess, in the title. So there you go. That's where it came from. So
That's funny.
how about you?
Well, like many of our cocktail channel friends, I started during COVID as well, just in May of 2020. Um,
Mm.
I was a dental assistant for over 30 years, and when COVID hit, Vino's in the house. Everybody say hi to Vino,
Yoo-hoo.
please. And thank you, Vino, for reminding everybody to hit the like button. I really would appreciate that. Um, so anyway, I was a dental assistant for 30 years, and then COVID hit, and that was a really scary thing because COVID is very aerosol, and so is dentistry. So we closed for 6 weeks, which was actually shorter than I thought was going to happen. But during that
Mhm.
time, for starting around 2016, I guess I was starting to make cocktails mostly with gin. And then
Mhm.
we went to in 2018 we went to London, and I discovered really great gins over there, and then brought that back here. But my husband was actually the one that was like, everybody's at home right now. We should do a little kind of party or something because we can't have people here, with us. So we should include other people in our little party. And so we did that on Facebook. I didn't actually start on YouTube. We started
Mhm.
that on Facebook. And so we put up a page called Post Quarantine Tiki Night. And then I got a few followers, and people started following the page. And I put up a menu of like what to eat, what we're gonna eat that night, rice and like um, ribs and stuff like that. And I put up, I can't remember how many cocktails, but I put the painkiller on there, and I put a couple other cocktails on there. And then we had this live stream on Facebook for the Home Bartender with Anne's post. It was called Post Quarantine because I mean, who thought it was going to go more than 6 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
So we had this little party, and I had quite a collection of people that were there talking with us and in the chat and making the cocktails with us. And my kitchen was totally destroyed. And I think I made 10 drinks by the end of the night. And it was a long, I think it was 4 to 6 hours. It was like 5 hours that I ended up being online. We played like Martin Denny, and we played some tiki music, and we just were like, we had a really great time. So people were kind of coming at different times of the night, coming in, and then some other people would show up at the end of the night. So that's how that got started. And then during that time period before the party actually happened, I made a couple of little videos saying, this is how you make this is how you make these few little cocktails, and you're going to need to make coconut or cream of coconut syrup, and you're going to need to make a demerara, whatever they were that people needed. And I posted those on YouTube, and I sent people from Facebook to YouTube. So that's kind of how the channel got started, because I sort of switched platforms and was posting a few little videos on there. I didn't actually intend to keep going with it if COVID was done.
Right.
But I mean, even though it's still going, I just, I got better and better at it. And I'm still learning all the time, and I'm learning about, camera presence and all that stuff all the time. So I'm going to keep doing it as long as I enjoy it. But that's how I got started. It was actually on Facebook, and then hopped over here to YouTube. Yeah, so that's my origin story,
Nice.
if you will.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh no, that's all I got. Great.
Okay, that's it.
Super cool.
So Christine Bond is here. Hello, Chris. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, I'm gonna do these comments really quickly and see.
Stephanie, what did you say?
Stefan, yeah, we said hello to him, but hello again, Stefan.
Iceman, Daniel.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do this evening, I think, and if this goes well, we'll run a few of these until we don't want to do them anymore. If that, both Dave and I agree that it's fun. So we're going to try 3 rums tonight. They were on the thumbnail that Dave created. The first one is the Hamilton Jamaican Pot Still Gold. Here, hopefully you can, it's probably backwards, but ta-da! So we're gonna just try that first in our little dram, our little rum trying sippers here. If you have this rum, go grab it and try it with us. We'd love to hear your tasting notes and hear what you think about it. I see Stefan put some information about the Devil's Own cocktail up there, created by Colin Simons in the UK in the 1930s. Cointreau, gin, vermouth. That sounds really good, actually. So let's get back to the sipping.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's talk a little bit about this guy here, if we can, for a second.
Go ahead.
So yeah, starting with the Hamilton Gold, and well, I guess maybe, I mean, if you don't mind me saying, as we jump into this, so yeah, like Anne was just saying, we're gonna do 3 Jamaican Golds, and for anybody who knows or maybe doesn't know, the common factor in all these is that they have a particularly funky nose on them, and and with a very unique taste. So in my opinion, it's a very interesting kind of Jamaican rum to try, just because of its unique flavor and the different in the range of flavor that you can find within this super odd, funky valley that exists in the Jamaican rum zone. So then this first one coming from the Ministry of Rum, Mr. Ed Hamilton.
And maybe some of you don't know who Ed Hamilton is. He's like, he has the moniker, the Ministry of Rums. So excuse me. So ministryofrums.com. I think he could definitely use an update on the site, but that doesn't mean he's been busy like making tons of rums. So, but that doesn't mean that the site is not useful. There's a lot of really great information on his site. And he basically, in the early days of the Tiki revival, he was going around to these different Caribbean islands, gaining knowledge about these rums that were, old rums, or just what's on these different islands, what distilleries are on these different islands. And then he was sort of like curating his own brand through that. So he and Beachberry, with their knowledge together in the third wave of Tiki, that wouldn't have happened, without Ed Hamilton's assistance, I don't think. They're
Absolutely.
both, really, really integral. This rum comes in at 46.5%. Yeah, it's, is everything we're trying tonight overproof?
Everything
Well,
overproof?
this one isn't.
The Dr. Bird. Well, actually, we're going to start from the lowest ABV and work to the highest ABV.
Work our way up.
So we're starting under proof, and then our next one is at proof, and then we're ending Navy strength.
So really quickly, Joel, so a couple people in the chat, Sean, and then there's Joel. Hello, Joel. Thank you for coming. Joel is in Australia, so he can't find the Hamilton rums, and neither Sean. So he's here, but I couldn't find them in my little area either. Really quickly, I live in Oregon, and Oregon is a control state, which means that you go to a dedicated liquor store, kind of like a Total Wine, but it's all run through the state. So all booze is shipped up to Portland, no matter where the distillery is in Oregon. It's shipped up to Portland and then distributed from Portland. So even if we have a distillery here that's 3 miles from my house and they don't have a special license to sell from their distillery, it's going to Portland and coming back here to the liquor store so that they can control where the liquor goes and where the finances are, which means for me, I live in a town of about 5,000 people, and the next town over is about 20,000, and the next one north is about 90,000 people. But if there's not a calling for some good rums, and there's a lot of, Monarch going on, there's a lot of like Sailor Jerry's and things like that, then we don't actually get a lot of stuff here where I live. And I actually have to order it. So there again, it's a control state, and they don't want somebody else shipping stuff in. So you kind of have to find somebody who will ship it to you. And I have found somebody that will do that. So anyway, it's just an interesting thing about Oregon. And then I've been to a Total Wine in California, and I was just like, it was so overwhelming because our liquor stores are very small. They're tiny, and the rum selection is not great, like I said. So then when you go into a Total Wine and you've got all of these things, I just want to buy everything there. So I just have to be careful. But anyway, do you have any more information you want to give on it's a Worthy Park? I'm all over the map. Mm-hmm. The Hamilton's is distilled by Worthy Park. No sugar added. Right?
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to add to it, Dave?
No. Let's jump in.
Okay. Let's try this. Does anybody else have this? Let us know in the chat. So really quickly before I try this, it sure is funky, isn't it?
That's the best.
There's a really funky nose. So I don't know if this is how you taste things, but especially the first rum that I'm sipping, it just blows my tongue out, basically. So you just got to let it like do its thing. And then just like roll over the top of your tongue. And then I usually let it sit for just a little bit. You're going to get some notes off of that, but it's a lot. But it's a lot of, alcohol. And then I take another sip, and that let that roll over the tongue, and that's where I get a lot of notes from. And then the third sip. Is that kind of what's your method?
That pretty much sums up what I do as well.
Okay.
Hey,
Alright.
quick
Oh.
shout out to Angry Cocktails. He's coming in and has to jump out, but
Thank
he's a
you
cool
so
guy,
much
so.
for coming, Andrew. Yeah, thank you. That's really cool. Thanks.
But yeah, here we go. So
Okay.
yeah, talk about the nose a little bit here. Oh man.
Try along there, Daniel, if you can run and go get it. And let us know what your thoughts are. Yeah, it's definitely really funky smelling.
Oh yeah. Yep. Whoo boy.
What?
Ripe banana
You're
caramel.
excited.
Super nice. Oh, I love it.
Banana, maybe raisins. Do you get any
Oh, yeah.
like raisins? Do you get any barrel just from the nose?
Oh man. I mean, it's all fruit to me, but I trust your input.
Yeah, it is. It is really fruity.
All right, I'm going in.
Okay, let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers. Great.
It's good. I like it.
It's good.
Next. No.
Moving on.
So when I taste that for the first time, I don't get the funk. I get barrel.
Right.
What do you get?
Yeah. No, absolutely. It even reminds me a little bit of like a Bacardi 8 Gold, Puerto Rican, where it's sweet but not too sweet, and definitely on that. There's always like a bit of caramel in there when it comes to rum, so I'm getting that right away, like in the initial blast zone, so to speak. But yeah,
that's a good way of putting it. That's funny. Hi to Old Fashioned Ways.
Yeah.
And Asher Green is here as well. Welcome and hello. We're trying Asher and Old Fashioned Ways. We're trying Hamilton's Pot Still Gold. If you have this rum and you want to try it with us, go get it. And we're going in for our second sip here in just a second. We'd love to hear your tasting notes. Go ahead, Dave. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I'm glad we're starting with this one because I'm already getting the burn.
Could you
blow my face
yeah.
off? Oh, it's so good.
That is sad. Old Fashioned Ways. You definitely need some rum in your life. I often, one quick note on Old Fashioned Ways, go check that out on YouTube. Great channel. Same with Angry Cocktails, really funny, and Vino's channel is great too. Bonnie, 1 Drink 3 Bars. Go check all these people out and like and subscribe after our feed this evening.
Yeah.
But,
and here comes Dave. Booze on the Rocks.
Yay, Dave! Thank you. Yay for coming, Dave. Thank you so much. But what I was gonna say was, I think, and I'll get to my tasting notes on the second one here. I think that that bourbon and rum are super close to each other. They're very close in profile. There's lots of bourbons out there that are very caramely and very, very nice, very full-bodied, kind of have a molasses, definitely get the barrel. So like you mentioned, I think you might have mentioned the Bacardi 8. I mean, you could swap bourbon out for that, a really nice aged bourbon for that, So I think when I think of Old Fashioned Ways in particular, his channel is very bourbon, or whiskey heavy, mostly bourbon, as from what I see in rye. There's a lot of these that I think, oh, he could use this in that cocktail. He could use that in that cocktail. But bourbon, like Vino said, bourbon and drinks I love it. Like that halakulani is one of my favorite drinks for sure. And when I was just at Disney, I had the halakahiki,
Oh yeah,
which was, it's kind of a little spin on that. Really good drink. So let me just sip mine again like it's the second time. What do you get off the second time besides blasting your face off?
The usual suspects kind of creep in, like banana
Yeah.
comes in and pushing that caramel a little bit more. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it's fun, and that now that you mentioned the raisin, it's one of those things that I can't ignore. So
yeah, it's not something that you generally think about with a rum, but it's definitely is there.
Old-fashioned ways.
And a little bit of vanilla.
Starter list for rum.
Yes. Yeah. I get the, thank you, Greg. He said, so Old Fashioned Ways said, I probably need a starter list for rum. Would love to open my horizon. Any suggestions for trying in an old fashioned?
Oh,
I mean, that's a tough one, actually, because I don't know, because I think one of the best, and maybe you can tell me what you think. I'm gonna sit down here.
Sure.
One of the best rums. So one of the first rums I got was Smith and Cross, and I made Painkiller out of it. And somebody on Facebook like called me out for it and chewed me out for it. Anyway, another subject. But I think if you get anything from the, of course, Old Fashioned Ways, I'll totally give you a list on Discord, but you can't go wrong. All the way, from a signature 8 all the way to the 12, which 12 we're going to use, and that's going to be a lot richer, just a lot more barrel on it, not funky and sweet. You could trade that out for, it's a dark rum. You could trade that out for a bourbon, and that would be good in a old fashioned. What do you have any other suggestions? I mean, this Hamilton would be a great. Would be great too.
I have 2 rums that I think of. One, there's a new rum out there, or I guess it's 2.5 years old now. But there's a new rum making the rounds called Equiano, and I find Equiano Dark is, or classic Equiano, so to speak. I find that to just be such a killer rum for old fashions. It's it has so much of its own personality, so that it just creates own super unique flavor experience when doing an old fashioned. This is a little expensive, but I also like Eldorado 15 specifically for an old fashioned. I think that one kicks butt. I think of that one specifically because 15 has a little bit of an ashier flavor than the 12, which is a little sweeter, and so it, in my opinion, behaves a little more like a whiskey. I mean, unmistakably rum when you have it, but I think those are probably like my stranded on a desert island can only bring 2 rums to make old fashions. I do those too. Yeah,
I agree. Stefan said in the comments, Eldorado 12. I've just been hitting the not that I drink all the time, but I've been hitting the Eldorado 12 a lot and using it a lot in mixing. I totally love it. It's a great rum.
It is my favorite rum of all time, is Eldorado 12. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. That's like if I could only have one rum for the rest of my life at this point, that's the one that I go to for most things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Stefan said Real McCoy 12, which I haven't tried yet, and Florida Canya 12, which I don't even think I can get here. Yeah, Florida Canya 25. But those are, like the Florida. My husband Greg is fielding comments as well, and he just flashed the Florida Canyon 25. But those bottles are going to be a little spendy.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, in the hundo 50s. Yeah.
Hundo 50s.
Hundo, probably $150, isn't it? Here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The bourbon courts are pretty funky. They're like I love bourbon court rums. They're so good. They're
Haitian rum.
funky and fun. Yeah. I make a Haitian on my channel. There's a Haitian rum sour. One of my favorite cocktails of all time. So simple to make and just so full of flavor. And I have even infused the 4-year with strawberries and made I made one just recently on my channel this summer that was basically a rum sour, but which everything kind of is, but and used that, and it's so good. But anyway, let me talk about my my second sipping here, which I've had like 4 of. When you put that in, you put that up to your mouth, you definitely get like an essence of funk for sure when it's coming in. And it's really warm. It's a little spicy, I think. I think it has a little tiny bit of molasses. Do you like not as much as a 12 or something like that, but just like a tiny little bit. And I definitely in the end, like for me, it finishes with a barrel note.
Cool.
Like I can taste it on the end. Is that kind of what you're getting as well? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So pineapple, you get a little bit of pineapple. I don't know if I get pineapple. Do you?
Yeah. Don't know if I do either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The closest I get is like a vanilla flavor on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to toss this into a cocktail and see what happens?
Yeah. Let's put it into a cocktail and see what happens. Yeah. So we're going to make, for all y'all out there, we're going to make a cocktail that was on Dave's channel probably, 3 episodes ago?
Yeah. Now it's probably like getting to be like 6 episodes ago. That one. It was the Back to the Future episode. This drink came about. It's a fun episode to look at.
It's so funny.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. When, if I'm sure all of you here have probably already subbed to Dave's channel, but his videos are amazing, and I think his channel, more subscribers. You've been doing it for a very long time, right?
That's right. You and I almost started at the same time. Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, really? Oh, I thought you'd done it a little bit longer than that, but no.
No, you started your channel probably about 4 months before I did. Yeah. But yeah, nonetheless.
Okay. I was just looking through.
The Beachcombers Gold 37 was. It's basically. I had to make that episode just because, like, I'd always wanted to do the Beachcombers Punch versus Beachcombers Gold mashup, the versus episode, and as I mentioned in that episode that there's a tiki bar in Los Angeles where you can do like basically a 78 drink challenge, not in a single night, but you work your way basically through. You work your way through Jeff Barry's second book, The Grog Log. And he has both of those in there, and so it's fun. Like people at Tonga Hut, the tiki bar, they love to try to put those 2 drinks next to each other because they're similarly named, and yet one is good and one is terrible. And so I thought it would be worth noting. It's like, the Beachcombers Gold actually has 3 different versions of itself, and so that's where that 37 episode came about. Where it was like, okay, let's make the version that is not terrible and see how it stacks up. So it's the lesser known version, sadly, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of interesting too, because like Tiki has had 3 evolutions, like 20s, 30s, 40s, kind of rolling into the 70s, and now we're going through another wave.
Absolutely.
But if you have if you have an iPhone, sadly, I don't think you can get it on an Android, but if you have the Totally Tiki app, it is such a great resource for all of these cocktails that we make. And he puts all of those versions that you were talking about, 37, like if it has a 37, 67, like all through the different years that this cocktail was made, changed. And so there's like an endless, you could never run out of tiki cocktails, I don't think, to try.
I believe the bad version of this drink was invented at the Chicago version of Don the Beachcombers. Yes, that's right. And I'm digging into my nerd memory here. And which always kind of like, it always fascinates me. It's one of those things that's like, if I was allowed a couple of questions to actual Don the Beachcomber, I would ask him. I would be like, dude, what happened? How did you start with the 37 one in Hollywood and then ruin this cocktail horribly in the late 60s in the Chicago version? But oh well. Vermouth cocktails were very popular in the late 60s again. So like I think that was I think a lot of cocktails were getting sort of rejiggered, so to speak, in that era. But anyway, enough about that.
Yeah.
We can jump in.
And also, you know, the rums that they had we're so lucky. I mean, the rums that they had in the 1930s. Thank you. 1 second. Thank you, Daniel, for coming. I really do appreciate it. And we probably will do it again if we have fun and everybody else, which I am so far. So everybody else likes it. But thank you so much for coming. See you next time. Yes, what I was going to say was, you know, the rums that they had in the 30s are different from the rums that they had in the 60s. And that was a very, 60s all the way up through 80s and 90s. You know, they were like, we don't want our parents' drinks. We want to drink vodka bullshit. And so that was, really popular. It's wave. And I'm sure we'll come back again. But the rums that we have now, I mean, we're so lucky. Yeah. So it's great everything to try all these recipes. So let's try this one now. So it starts with half an ounce. You ready?
Yep.
Half an ounce of simple syrup.
All right.
And we got half an ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. So I don't have any Pernod.
Mm-hmm.
I do have absinthe.
Perfect.
And so I'm just going to use that.
It's a 100% subbable thing. Are you doing the Pernod first then, right away? You're doing the absinthe right away?
I'm going to do that next, yes. Yes, the lime.
Great.
6 drops of absinthe. I did a little bit more. This dropper is really small.
Me too.
And then we got 4 drops of almond extract.
Oh yeah, I try to put in as little as possible because I already blew it. It's such an extraordinarily potent recipe. As Vino would say, it is a diva ingredient, so it demands all the attention.
It is potent.
Yep.
Almond can really take it over. Then we have an ounce of Bacardi 8. This is what we were talking about earlier.
One of my all-time
old-fashioned ways. Like Bacardi does, get a bad rap, and I don't have any of the other Bacardis except for this one. To be honest, this is a great rum. It's
truly incredible. I had my suspicions as well. When it's funny, I remember seeing this bottle in a liquor store and being like, "What is Bacardi doing? They're trying to jump into the artisanal world of rum."
Yeah.
And then I had it and I was blown away. I was like, I think it's really good. So anyway.
Yeah, it is. Gnome's Tavern is here. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. We're making a Beachcombers Gold right now. We've already put in simple, lime, absinthe, almond extract. We got our Bacardi 8-year. And next is 1/4 ounce of
dark,
yeah. I'm using
I'm going to
the
be using.
I'm using Appleton 12.
Oh, perfect. I'm using Appleton signature. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And then,
Good. I'm glad we're using similar rums. Cool.
and then we
Yeah.
got a quarter ounce.
Let's see. What do we got? Just a quarter ounce of the Gold Jamaican. Yeah. Cool. Gonna grab some ice. Oh boy. Hold on a second. Oh. Cool. I'm gonna shake this guy up. Are you ready? Oh. Okay. We may have a devastating situation happening here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Ah. Can't hear. Wonder if they can hear Anne. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I lost sound on Anne. I was convinced it was on my end. Gonna shake. That's true. It might be your AirPods. Maybe they died. Oh yeah. Also, just sounds cool. Let's see. Backup AirPods. Still nothing. I can improvise the music. There you go. Okay. That one's for you, old-fashioned ways. Hello, everyone. I'll be entertainment for a minute here as we wait to solve the problems. Second, we'll play. Try to guess the next rum that we have coming up. Awkward. Yep. Here, if Anne doesn't mind, I could talk a little bit about Dr. Bird in the interim. This is the next Gold Jamaican that we're going to be doing. This is another fairly recently born rum. Oh no. another recently born rum that's come about. It's coming out of Detroit, actually, my home state, Michigan, and it is also a super funky rum. So, favorite tiki drink of all time from Iggy. Let's see. That one keeps changing. You know what? These days, my my benchmark is Navy Grog. When I go to tiki bars, I'm just like, oh man, like because I always feel like you can't miss, because if you go to a place where they're going to make the drinks a little on the weaker side, you're at least going to get a little more potent, a little bit more of a potent drink. It's like ordering a zombie. And if you go to a place where they make the drinks very good, you're going to get a good, ideally a good Navy Grog. So that's kind of, even though it's a classic and not necessarily very original, that's one that I love to go for. So, oh, Iceman made an actual snow cone. Cool. That's traditionally a Navy Grog. For those who don't know, that's one where you usually have the ice cone in there. We're back with Anne. Except now she's on we've swapped sides. No audio still. It's Freaky Friday.
Can you hear me?
Hey.
Okay.
Yep. But now we're gonna have that feedback.
Now we're gonna have what?
That feedback issue.
Oh, that's because you're sound.
Okay, let me. Sound on. Do you have your sound on over there?
Let's see. Yep, we're still feedbacking.
So, can you hear me right now?
I can hear you.
You can hear me, but it's like echoey.
Yep. Well, as in it's probably sound coming out of your speakers and it's feeding to your microphone.
Yeah, which I don't know why it's doing that. Just a second here.
It's back to me. Nope.
Because if I move.
Yeah, it's very likely that just the ear pods probably zonked out on power.
They're all.
You're on.
Hold on just a second.
You're on.
I know, but it's echoey and feedback.
Right.
So you need.
Just do your own thing.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Is it echoey?
Nope. Are we back?
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're good. Oh my gosh.
Oh, these things happen. It's okay.
Yes.
I don't know why that happened, but anyway, look.
Thanks, everybody. oh my gosh. Yeah, I actually had one working, but here, there we are. You can see that, right?
So,
yeah.
Yes. So this is like a traditional, I'm going to back up here, or maybe I'll just pull it a little forward. It's like a little bowl, a little traditional frozen bowl. And I made this and it broke the glass that I had it in. So I had to
really?
make another.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. There's those Libby glasses, that are just kind of thin and cheap. But this is like a really nice one. So yeah. So let's make it before it melts. Let me shake mine a little bit.
give it a pour. Now probably a very watered down beachcomber, but it's fine.
Perfectly. There you have it. Cocktail Fridays.
Yeah, we're gonna stay Freaky Friday here.
Beachcomber Gold, 1937.
Yes.
All right, let's try it. Cheers.
Let's give it a
I don't even know how I'm going to drink this.
Yep.
It's very it's a really interesting one. Has anybody else tried this? Put that in the chat if you would.
I'm just gonna say right away, I definitely ruined mine. I know I knew it as soon as too much of the almond went in. That is I shouldn't have played with that fire because now it just tastes like almond. Yep. It's like an overpowering orgeat, but oh well.
You can always make it again. It's okay.
Can always make it again. It's true. We have all the technology right in front of us.
We have the technology.
Yep.
I think this one in particular, if you do not have good limes, is not going to be good. And that's another thing about the little area that I live. I don't get great produce either. I have to go to one of the bigger cities to get pretty good produce. I was telling you the other day that I have to go to a specialty market to get blood oranges. But the limes that we get, oftentimes you cut them in half, they're dry and they have like a little bit of a pinkish hue.
Oh no.
You know, so then you have to adjust your levels because they're just going to be tart and not great. But I happen to have a good lime. And that's kind of what I get from that right off the bat. Okay. Is that correct? Is that what I should be getting? Is it's like a really subtle lime and really it's really kind of tropical. Like I could see having it in Hawaii or something, something like that. It's really nice.
Yeah. I mean, something about this cocktail is that it's not necessarily a great one to showcase Gold Jamaican just because it's a mere quarter ounce in the grand scheme of things. It's more of that gold Puerto Rican that's taking over the cocktail.
Yeah.
And I think I might have made this one time using, God forbid, just like regular gold Bacardi, non-8-year, which in my opinion has a much ashier flavor, a much darker flavor. And it can pull this drink a little into the bitter realm, especially if you have a good solid absinthe in there. The overall punch can be a little more bitter, but I'm screwed because
I see
mine just tastes like I'm drinking straight orgeat. But yeah,
I can see where using the Bacardi, a different Bacardi would also overpower it with just an ethanol finish. Yep. You'd just be like, absolutely. Oh, this is, and I think that's kind of where rum, especially Bacardi, being the leader. I mean, they're basically the pioneers, for modern day pioneers in rum. So, I could see where that would really just a crummy rum like that is not going to be great in this cocktail. This is kind of really specific, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But
sure.
For me, you used in your video though, you used Dr. Bird, right? In place
for the Gold Jamaican,
Hamilton's?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Because I did try that.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Which adds what?
Oh, I was gonna say you'll probably say this, which is just that. And when we get to sipping the Dr. Bird, I definitely feel like Dr. Bird has a way punchier funk nose on it, and not to give anything away, but also like a little bit of that wine flavor imparts into it, and so the using this versus that definitely steers the flavor a little bit in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have made it, and I made it last week because I wanted to see what that was like, and I think that it really was a good choice. I must say, you made a good choice. I think it really brought the funk, you know, just a really banana funk in there, and with just the sweet muscat cask finish on it. It just like brought this great finish to the cocktail. Fruity, tropical, really refreshing. I think it was a great choice of your. You did a good job. It was a great choice, Dave.
Excellent. Good.
So I'm gonna have another sip of this. I'm sorry yours doesn't taste good, but mine's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's limey. It's not an island spice. It's kind of a little more caramely, I guess, with the Hamilton and the 12 together. But when you have that Dr. Bird in there, it's even more caramely, kind of, which I personally like a lot.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't even know how they would serve these forever. I mean, this takes forever. It's not like I can't believe I made it in one day.
Do you see rings?
From what I understand,
No,
they
I
used to
didn't.
have just big old. They used to have just freezers of these things ready to go back at.
Yeah.
You know, back at both Trader Vic's and Donna Beachcombers, they would just have these things like ready. Yep.
Yeah, I would think you would have to, you know. I just saw that Bonnie purchased. She was just saying that she purchased a little oyster snowflake ice crusher. And then they also have those. You'll probably know. I can't remember at the moment. They have those cones. Isn't that a Navy grog?
Yeah, the Beachfront Berry actually sells those now. Yeah, through what's it called? Cocktail Kingdom.
Latitude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Really quickly, I want to say hi to my friend Rini. She is on right now. I appreciate you coming. Love you. Thank you for coming. So, what's up next?
Up next, we have Dr. Bird, your favorite.
Dr. Bird. My fave, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Because Greg just asked a question. He said, "Why are you on the right?" And I said, and it's because when the feed cut out, so did I. And therefore, whoever comes on second, they take the second seat there. So that's why.
So if I cut the Wi-Fi for a moment,
that's not a good idea.
then it'll switch again.
Don't do that. I'm not worried about it. I'm good. Don't worry about that. He said, "I'll just cut the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You guys will be, we'll just start all over."
I love that. Vino was like, "Don't touch the rabbit ears. It's TV is working now." Yep.
So I'm adamant about this. You guys don't have this, and you like a funky rum. Vino, this seems right up your alley to me. You love wine. That's one of your things. It's not like it tastes like wine, but it just has that sweet, nice wine finish, you know, and it kind of smells like wine too, but it's amazing. You've got to try it if you're really into rum. So I'm going to pour some of this into my dram here. I think I was talking to you, Dave, about their pineapple rum. They just came out with a pineapple rum. And so cool. I didn't like it as much as this. And then you were telling me about the vermouth cask finish that Dr. Bird also makes. And I went immediately to their website. So you know, who knows?
It's super new.
It's super new. They just came out with it. And it was in a limited release. I can't remember how many bottles, but limited release. But does anybody else have Dr. Bird? I know that Matt has Dr. Bird. And Stefan can't get it up there in Canada. Mm-hmm. But do you have your
the vermouth cask
dram?
It was given to me very kindly as a wedding gift by one of our wedding coordinator. Actually, she got her hands on a bottle and was like, "Here you go." And I was like, "I've never even seen this before," and I love Dr. Bird, so that was a shocker.
Daniel's back. Hi, Daniel. Are you talking about the vermouth finish or the Dr. Bird in general? Oh,
the vermouth finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind
I'm
blowing.
convinced
And it's It's an overproof. It's like 118 or something.
That's crazy. That's interesting. I haven't read about it yet, but I wonder I wonder why they went that far. I wonder why they had it as an overproof.
Yeah.
Obviously, it must have tasted best as an overproof. But on the nose for this, I'm gonna go ahead and smell it. It's very funky. I mean, it's banana, it's molasses, it's caramel. It's awesome. It's more of the muscatel cask finish as well.
Yep.
You get, sometimes I get like glue a little at the end,
Oh my god.
or like kind of like acetone a little bit.
Yeah. I was curious to see if they talked a little bit about it. Yeah. Their own. I was reading their own notes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Pineapple. Well, I don't want to influence our thoughts here too much.
That is good.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, you do get. Well, I do get like a little bit of a pineapple funk, for lack of a better word. Like I can definitely get a little bit of pineapple, and definitely the banana funk is strong with this one. It's like the horse is strong with this one. The banana funk is strong with this one.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think that they claim that there's mango in it.
Yep. And passion fruit. So they say.
Yeah. But
all right,
I'm not really. Go ahead. I'm not really like, I don't know about passion fruit.
Yeah, I do not pick up the passion fruit at all. Holy hell. Holy hell. That's a lot of proof there. Bam.
Yeah. So at the end of this, I almost get like a musty, I don't know what that is. If it's the barrel, I don't know.
Yep.
But, for sure, charred barrel. For sure, kind of woodsy.
Yep. Super woodsy. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's warm. It's spicy. It's not peppery. It's not hot. Like, I think this personally is a little bit more smooth than that Hamilton that we tried.
Yep.
Could be that it's my second one. And
yeah, we're warmed up now. So
all warmed up. Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like the Appletons where you get like, you just get punched in the face with whatever it is, right away. Like with Appleton, you're going to get caramel, butterscotch, molasses notes, like right away. And maybe a little bit of funk, but this definitely hits you with the funk, I think.
Holy, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's so good.
I'll never forget opening my very first bottle of Dr. Bird and just being like, oh my God, like just like smelling it right out of the bottle is such an experience. And,
yeah, because
that really comes
through. I think that like you smell it out of the bottle and you get a lot of fruit.
Yes. And
you get a lot of notes that you're not getting with the dram. You're not getting with the little pour. You're getting it's just a different. It's like kind of like a glass of wine is, where it just, for me, I can't drink wine anymore, but wine would, or sake for me, like would settle into your chest and just like warms you up and makes you feel like, oh, this is really good. Like you could sip this. I'm not too into sipping the Hamiltons. Would you agree? I
think so. It's funny. I have very specific feelings about Dr. Bird. Like I don't want to.
Oh yeah? Yeah, tell us. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Let's get the Dr. Bird guy.
What you said about my Dr. Bird. Go
it's
for
so
it.
funny. I was
Do it.
talking to Jess, and I said to Jess a couple months ago, I said, "Wow, Anne really loves Dr. Bird," and and we were talking because Jess and I talk about Dr. Bird quite a bit, and we sort of have, I don't want to go as far to say a love-hate relationship with it, but we loved it to death the first 3 bottles that we went through, and then I think we started to then pick up at it. Eventually we were like, oh wow, interesting, like it's fascinating to sip, but it's something that we have to warm up to, like otherwise it's one of those rums that for us the initial nose doesn't match the taste, and
Yes.
it's a little more oddly a little more bitter on the first taste, but then once your palate gets warmed up, it starts to become awesome again. So
Yeah.
um,
It's definitely not a starter rum.
no.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say if you've never had rum, go for this one. You know, that's
Yeah.
where those Appletons come into play. I mean, I think the real fruit flavor that comes from this shines in a cocktail,
Hmm.
whereas sipping it, you know, it just doesn't come through. It's kind of like, you know, it goes like what is that called? The Dr. Bird that I made from bootlegger tea. Like
Yeah.
you get in that, you're going to get the Mr. Black coffee because it's a dominant flavor, but it's only a quarter of an ounce. It's not very much,
Yeah.
but this Dr. Bird really shines through. Do you have anything else that you want to add to that?
No, just I agree 1,000%. There's a absolutely amazing tiki bar in Long Beach, California that is called the Bamboo Club, and
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, their greatest cocktail far and away is this cocktail that's served in a brandy snifter called Dr. Bamboo,
Oh,
and their whole thing is what it's very, very similar to the cocktail you were just describing from Bootlegger, where it's an espresso liqueur plus Dr. Bird, showcase essentially, and it's
mm-hmm.
unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
like Dr. Bird blends so well with other things. I love making jungle birds with Dr. Bird, and it's just it's one of the coolest. It's like the best expression of a jungle bird, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I have not tried it in a jungle bird. Greg really likes jungle birds, so I will do that for sure.
Yeah, do
That's
it.
really interesting.
It's
Um,
incredible. Yeah.
um, excuse me for just a second. Greg, is
Hmm.
Jesse here?
Yeah, Jesse went to take his kids to a haunted house.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I didn't get to say to hi, but Jesse is a friend of mine and my previous boss before I quit dental
Oh.
assisting, which I did about a year and a half ago. Anywho,
Right.
do you want to,
And
shall we?
also mention that he's the distiller.
Oh, and also, yes, he is also a distiller. He makes his company is called Immortal Spirits, and he makes bourbon and rum and gin and everything. He made absinthe, and that's the absinthe I was actually using. I still have it from when we started years ago. So
Nice.
yeah. So shall we make our little Cibonnet? We're making a Cibonnet next, everybody. And that's going to be Dr. Bird, pineapple rum, pineapple juice, passion fruit syrup, and demerara syrup. So let me get my pineapple juice really quickly.
It's a shame we can't swap this out
Yeah, it's okay.
because the camera sucks.
Yeah, that's all right. I have been juicing my own pineapples lately. I have a really retro juicer. I did not do that tonight, but I didn't think it was going to make a huge difference. But man, it's amazing. I mean, it really does make it like Dole tastes quite watery to me.
Yes.
The closest that I've come is the canned pineapple juice at Trader Joe's. But I just got this pineapple juice. It's also at Trader Joe's because my kiddo works at Trader Joe's.
Perfect.
And in the carton, it's pretty good too. So let me get my shaker here and let's make this. Does anybody else? I know that Matt has Dr. Bird, but does anybody else have Dr. Bird? I'd like to know that.
Everybody's commenting on
Has everybody said something on it?
it. Yeah, most people can't get it, and a few people want to get it. It's on their list.
So if you can't get Dr. Bird,
Australia.
and you're in Australia, I'm sorry about that. But you can go to Dr. Bird's website, which is 2james.com, I believe. And they sell it from their website. And they will ship to every place but 2 states. I think I'm not really sure what those are, actually. But Daniel, if you have this and you have pineapple juice, passion fruit syrup, demerara syrup, and pineapple rum, plantation pineapple, then make it along with us and let us know what you think. If you haven't had this, I will say it's excellent. So I'm going to start with half an ounce of demerara. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to start with that. Do I have it out? Yes, I do. Boop. Okay, half an ounce of demerara.
It's actually the very last of my Liburn show.
Oh, yep. I make my own. It's super easy. Dave, I have a video for that. It's very easy, and you can totally follow along and make it. Okay, so half an ounce of that. I also have a video for passion fruit syrup. You can make it very easily. Half an ounce of passion fruit syrup as well.
Half an ounce or a full ounce?
Half an ounce of passion fruit syrup.
Okay.
Why did you read a full ounce?
I'm using a very, I think I'm using a different recipe than you are on this one.
Okay. I wouldn't use a full ounce.
Yeah. Mine does not even call for pineapple rum. Go ahead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, it
so,
does. Sorry. Go ahead.
Just as a reference, I'm making the one that was on my channel.
Okay.
The Siboney that was on my channel, and it's also in the Easy Tiki by Chloe. Yeah. So next up we have an ounce of pineapple juice. Does yours call for pineapple juice?
That's right. Actually, I did pull this off of your YouTube channel.
Oh,
I got
so maybe
one ounce passion fruit syrup, a half ounce of pineapple rum, half ounce demerara, and then a 1.5 of Dr. Bird.
That's hilarious. Okay, so apparently I need to go back and edit that video there, or the description. Okay, so 1 ounce of pineapple. Got that?
Yep.
And then half an ounce of pineapple rum. Do you have that?
I don't. So I'm just gonna have to sub. It's not gonna be the same.
You don't have Stiggins?
I don't have Stiggins. Yeah, I know.
You've got to get that. So for this cocktail, actually for the pineapple and the old fashioned that I did, rum old fashioned that I did on this channel, I infused this with a quarter of an ounce of, quarter of a pineapple, including the rind and all. And man, it really boosts the flavor of this. It's incredible. This rum is incredible on its own though. So if you don't have that, add that to your list. All right. And then does it say 1.5 ounces of Dr. Bird for you?
It does.
Okay. Okay.
Amen. We're synced on that one.
I'm human. Whatever. All right. Ice. Let's shake it up.
Yep.
I think Matt, Iceman Can't Cook, said to me in a comment at some point, you should make that should be your motto or your thing is let's shake it up, because I say that all the time. So at some point that should be on a t-shirt. So at some point I'll do that.
There we go.
So I'm gonna shake it up.
Sean wants to know, do you have any Just Rum brand rums?
Do you have any Just Rum brand
Yeah,
rums?
Just Rum.
I don't.
You could recommend it.
So Sean asked, do I have any Just Rum brand rums? And I don't. Do you, Dave?
I do not. I assume they mean like that's the actual brand name is Just Rum, right?
I believe so. Is that Sean? Is that the actual? That is the actual brand name, Just Rum.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wait for him. Let us know.
I assume that's.
Ew! Look at your cool little. Looks like lava going in there. That's so cool. I have those glasses in my Amazon cart. They have been in there for approximately 2 years. So I keep like, I've got to get some of those, but then I just haven't done it. Oh yes. He says they're based out of Oregon. So no, I have not. I was watching a podcast, and I'm subscribed to, what is it, Drums and Drams, I think. And he was talking about Just Rums. It is produced in Oregon. So I definitely need to get my hands on that. I think I can even get a little taster of it. I'm sure I could. But yeah, that's a great recommendation. Sean, is there one that you would recommend to start with? Because I know they have a couple. Pretty sure they have a couple. But anyway, Cibonnet.
Cibonnet. Cheers.
Ready? Cheers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think an ounce of passion fruit is too much.
Yeah.
Is it? You're all yes. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Remake that. We'll wait for you.
I could pour it. Yep. Yeah.
Yes, Drums and Drams and Rums is a podcast. Okay, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Damo, for coming. We in the Discord family we love you so much, and we're so happy and grateful that we're connected to you, no matter where you are, and we always support you no matter what you're doing. So thank you so much. I think I speak on behalf of everybody in the Discord community that we have here and say, we love you and thank you so much for coming this evening. And go subscribe to Damos Art Studio channel. He does amazing it's incredible, crazy art that looks like photographs. It's amazing. He's done cocktails and ballerina, and like it's cars inside of cockpits. Amazing. You got to go check him out. Thank you, Damos. So Sean says their maple rested is highly rated. Ooh, so a maple cap. That's interesting. I'd like to try that. I'm sure I can get it. I'll try and remember that. Thank you, Sean, for that recommendation. So, what's your thought? Do you want to remake it? You don't have the pineapple rum.
I was just gonna say because I'm lacking the pineapple rum, I probably won't remake this one. But
so obviously
least,
I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because 1 ounce of passion fruit does it over? Well, you tell me, does it overpower the cocktail? Is it?
Well, not entirely. This is one of the magic powers of Dr. Bird is that it has the ability to jump through.
Yes.
I actually, not to do some self-promotion here, but I think two episodes ago for me, I did a Jungle Bird revised on my channel. And part of the reason for that was because I had actually gone back and looked at it was like a splinter in my mind where I'm like, a Jungle Bird can't possibly have 4 ounces of pineapple juice. That sounds like way too much pineapple juice for any cocktail. And so that led me to looking up all the history of how did it end up that way and where's the revised. But I remember the one thing that I remember about making that original that Jungle Bird was I was like, wow, even with 4 ounces of pineapple juice, Dr. Bird still manages to cut through and come to the front. And that's kind
Yeah.
of what's happening here. Not necessarily the front, but it at least is able to still find its way through. So
yeah, it's there for sure. I mean,
mhm.
you can smell it. I can smell it just smelling the cocktail. But I know what it, I know what Dr. Bird smells like. But it's kind of like you smell it and it's pineapple-y, it's funky, it's like you're like, wow, this is really a tiki drink.
Yeah. I mean, having a full 1.5 ounce of Dr. Bird helps. Like it can punch through nicely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that, I find passion fruit syrup to be very very tart.
Mhm.
And so that can easily overpower a cocktail, I think.
Yep.
So maybe if you had less passion fruit, it would be even better.
It would definitely be better.
Yeah. And
Quality
you had
ingredients matter so much, and so like if you're using a bad passion fruit as well, it can ruin the entire cocktail. So
yes. Yeah. And
making it at home like you do, or using something like more like a liquid alchemist or whatnot is gonna help, not screw up everything. So yeah.
have you tried the Liber & Co. passion fruit? I haven't
No,
tried
not
it.
yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
I
tried the
assume
Liquid
it's good.
Alchemist. Yeah,
Mm.
which is good. I'm sure that Liber & Co. is good as well. I mean, all of these companies, the Liquid Alchemist, Liber & Co., very good.
Mhm.
I have a bottle of Giffard's Orgeat right now. It's
Mhm.
very almond paste forward,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's huge. We talked about that before,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, and if you can freeze any of it and come back to it, like I said, in my passion fruit syrup video, I cut those. I freeze the passion fruit in 2-ounce cubes, and then I cut off what I need. Like, oh, this is half of this is about an ounce, so I can make 2 ounces of passion fruit syrup, which is plenty for a week,
Absolutely.
or a weekend
Yep.
or whatever. Um, I wanted to ask you, what came first for you, tiki or rum?
All right. I have a very, very concrete answer for this. I mean, it's sort of good. I mean, now that I think about it, it actually goes full circle for me. It's my family is they're big rum drinkers, but I grew up
Oh,
like with my family drinking like pretty boring rum. But I basically just took away the rum aspect of that. And then I have a brother who's like 6 years older than I am. And when he went to college, and he basically, when he was in college, he started getting into complex cocktails. And so he started drinking a lot of rum cocktails that he didn't really realize were sort of in that rum or that tropical tiki zone. He just knew what they were. And so he started to pass that down to me basically. And he was saying, he's like, Dave, you gotta do this and this and try it, like try this cocktail, try this, that, this and that one. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, he actually said by then he had figured it out, and he was like, "You live in the hotbed of tiki bars," and this would have been like
yeah.
circa 2005, so this was before tiki had made like a third wave super comeback. And but even so, like in here we still have Tiki Tea and Tonga that were open at the time, and even Bahuka Lounge was open back then, and Damon's. And so I then started to get way into tiki cocktails at that point. And then I had become friends with a schoolmate of mine here that was like way more into it than I was. And they were like, "Oh, you're in a tiki cocktail? I'm in a tiki cocktail." And so the two of us together went out and just started slamming through all the different tiki bars here. And so I got way into it that way. And it wasn't until I would say 2017 where, you know what it was that did it was I moved to Vancouver, and Vancouver is not a very rum friendly city. It's like Scotch and gin. And
So Vancouver, Washington, or
oh,
Vancouver, BC?
Vancouver, BC, yeah.
Ah,
That whole
okay.
city is a whiskey Scotch gin city. And And I remember being like heartbroken where I'm like, wow, no rum. Okay. So I switched gears and started to learn about Scotch and whiskey. And I got really into drinking Scotch when I was up there. And I remember that was my gateway into learning how to appreciate spirits on their own. And because I would just drink everything neat. And then, actually, it wasn't until I then moved back to LA where it occurred to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, now that I've gone down those avenues, like I'm going to start drinking rum just on its own. And that led me to starting to learn all about it's super educational, as you know. Like that's when I started to learn all about, okay, how does Central American rum differ from Puerto Rican rum, from Jamaican rum versus the Golds versus the Demerara's, Haitian, everything. And it was, for me, it was mind blowing at that point where I'm like, wow, this informs so much about what I'm making and what I'm drinking,
Yeah, I agree with what you're sort of talking about there at the end. Like rum is so diverse, and it comes from so many different places that don't have regulations down right now, and they're working on all that. There's a lot, it's just like anything else. There's people that want to say, you have to make it here. It has to be aged for this amount of time, and I don't know how that's actually ever going to come to fruition, since there are so many different distilleries making it. But it is so diverse that it is a fun rabbit hole to go down. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Everything okay?
Sorry.
I
was reading that.
It's okay. I was like, he's looking. Yeah, it's incredibly diverse, and it's not like Kentucky bourbon, or something like that has that needs to be, barreled for this long and made from corn and made from cane sugar, whatever. It's not like that. From agricole all the way up to your overproofs, it's diverse. I personally have 60 bottles in my collection, and there's probably, I would say there's 10 ultimately that I would buy, that I buy regularly, that I would buy again, that I replace. But it's definitely a rabbit hole that is really fun to explore. Yeah. So you were talking to me before, like you have hit quite a few. Bye, Demos. Thank you so much for coming. He's got to go. You were telling me before that you've hit quite a few tiki bars, and that might be a discussion for another time. But we're very lucky on the West Coast. You live in California. I live in Oregon. We're very lucky on the West Coast. We have a lot. You live right in the center. Yeah. And I have, 2 or 3 up here the Alibi, which we were talking about the other day, not the greatest, but it's been around since the beginning. Like it's just amazing. It's a piece of history. It's a must go see. And it's just an interesting thing that I think we're very lucky to get to have on the West Coast. So shall we move on to our last? Yes, Greg. Greg has.
I was just going to say that really, Haley Paley is one of the best in the country.
So yes, Greg was saying Haley Paley is really one of the best. Maybe they're a sister of Smuggler's Cove, so you can't go wrong. If you're on the West Coast, and you that's a good question for you. If you're on the West Coast and you happen to be in Oregon, I would say Haley Paley for sure. And then we have another one, and that's in Portland. We have another one called Rum Bar. They make amazing cocktails and amazing food. And Haley Paley, amazing food. So some of these tiki bars you go to, and you're like, everything on my plate right now is tan, and they don't have anything on the menu that's not tan. So it's great when you get both. But let's see. Vino said East Coast is more of a beach bar destination, and then tropical drinks, which I think is like Shannon Mustafer says, like that's the next up and coming thing. I think tropical cocktails is because it's tied to tiki, but it's culturally more appropriate to say tropical cocktails per se.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
it's they're pulling in things like Mr. Black and and different liqueurs that make a huge difference and make a different cocktail. Like tiki's going to be pineapple juice and more sweeter cocktails, and tropicals a little more diverse, and you're going to get the depth of flavor a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
So I like both of those things.
Yeah.
But anyway,
to Gnome's Tavern, I've only ever been able to pull off a tiki bar crawl in San Francisco, just because to me it's the only city that I know of that has the most amount of tiki bars in a single area that is in a densely packed area. And like I actually attempted to go pretty hard this past year in February. I went there and actually tried to do a full blast crawl in a single night. And that's the thing about tiki drinks, is that they're so intense that I remember we had to call it quits after a certain one. And it was like, well, we'll do an addendum tomorrow and pick up the last couple ones in the next day. So yeah.
Did you do it? Did you do the addendum?
Yeah. And then we did, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We
there's
went one
actually
time
so
to
many. I was going to say there's so many in the Bay Area that we actually had to sit. We ran out of time. We were like, you know what? Like there's still 3 more we wanted to go to that we didn't even get to. And we're like, that'll just have to be for another time.
Yeah, that is on my, Greg, can you, well, I'll just say this. I'll just say it. So I was just reading the chat. So, So Vino, does that mean that you've met Iceman Can't Cook? Tell me in the chat.
Boy.
So yeah, probably. So that is on my bucket list to go to San Francisco. That's like a trip, but to do for sure.
I'll see you there.
One night. Yeah, we should definitely meet there. That'd be a great thing. And then whoever wants to come, if you're here on the West Coast, PM me on Instagram and we can put something together. That would be so much fun. And then anybody who's not, go ahead. Anybody who's not can fly here and we'll meet you. Oh, this would be so much fun.
I was going to say, Matt and Sparkle will definitely make the flight to come out.
Yes, it's an easy flight. It's an easy flight.
They seem like the kind of people that would do that. So
yes, for sure. That'd be so much fun. I went to Haley Paley once. Greg and I went to Haley Paley once, and we were sitting at the bar, and the show's going on and all that. And then some people come in next to us on the left. Some people come in next to us on the right. We have like 6 tiki cocktails, and we're just like, "You're a Libra, I'm a Libra. You're a Leo. Oh my gosh, great!" And like we're just like we know each other, like we're best friends. We had the best night, and it didn't. In the end, we made it to our hotel, and the rest of it wasn't great. You should not drink more than 4. My motto is 2 is plenty. Like you shouldn't be having 4 tiki drinks per person or any. Doesn't matter if it's tiki. It's too much. But anyway, it was a very fun night, and it's just such a fun, genre, and the community in tiki is super supportive, and it's so great. I'm just totally enamored by it. Shall we move on to the granddaddy?
For our final. Yep.
Yes.
Boom.
So if you have, and I know some of you do, I know a lot of you do, grab your Smith and Cross. Get yourself a little something to taste with, and let's taste it. Put your tasting notes in the comments, please.
Side note for Vino Valentino. He's probably already aware of this, but I have like a destination tiki bar that's out there in Brooklyn now that I really want to go to. Sunken Harbor. One of my cousins lives there, and so she makes me jealous sometimes by texting me pictures from Sunken Harbor. But it is A+ quality place, as far as I can tell.
Have you been there, Vino? Have you been to Sunken Harbor yet? Let us know.
See what Vino has to say about that.
Yeah.
There also used to be a cool place in Times Square called oh gosh, oh no, oh, the Polynesian was in Times Square, and that place was really, really, really good, but it is permanently closed now, sadly. So it's almost not worth mentioning. but there used to be, and then Otto's is a classic down in Alphabet City. Otto's Shrunken Head has been there forever, and that's a very old tiki bar, very old, quote unquote.
On the East Coast, where is it?
On the East Coast, right in Alphabet City in Manhattan. So, yeah, yeah. Like you said, I think I've now been to 76 different tiki bars across the world. So
what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I have about 60 left that's on my to-do list, but some of those permanently closed before I can make it. So,
oh my gosh, that is amazing. I was just like, how many have I been to? 6. So obviously,
but that's the thing. It's like, and then I actually keep maybe in a future episode we'll do this, but I keep a curated list of my top 25 out of that 76 so far. And in terms of like, this is where I rank them in terms of which ones I think are the best and, whatnot. So we could talk about what makes a great tiki bar sometime, but that's a discussion for another day. So,
all right. Yes.
But
so join us on tasting the Smith & Cross. I'm assuming that Vino is running right now to get his bottle because I know he has it. He loves it so much. And I just wanted to say to Bonnie, because she said, I'm not sure if I can handle 4 anymore because I'm old, because I'm actually getting a full pour and not some kind of drink for kiddies that's watered down with Sprite. I think we can all agree, maybe, I'm sure we're all mature people here. Like, 2 is great for me. 3, sometimes like when Greg and I go out to a bar, each of us get 2 and then we share the third. Because it's for me anymore. It's not like, I'm having a quality cocktail. I'm there for the experience. I'm there to talk about it with my friends that are there as well. I'm not there to get drunk and have to throw up later. I'm done throwing up. It's not fun for me. So I agree with you, Bonnie.
If it's fun for you, put it in the
comments. If it's fun for you, yes, put it in the comments. So Vino says that he puts his bottle under his pillow at night and he has cross dreams all the time. So I've got my dram here. Have you poured yours? Oh, yes, you have. I thought that was a candle. That is such a cool little thing. You're all you're so Greg.
This is basically it. I was just gonna say that. I'm like, this is a bite off of what's his name? Yeah.
What is his channel name?
Over it.
Now I feel really.
I know. I can't believe I'm forgetting it. Yeah.
Greg,
the biggest one there.
How to drink.
How to drink. Yeah.
How to drink. Sorry if he's swiping. One of the most annoying things in my life is flies. I do not like flies. I'm weird about it, and I kill them with vigor. My husband's always like, Jesus. And I'm like, well, and like with spite. And there's little fruit flies in here right now because I brought a pineapple in that, they just come in. So it's annoying me. Anyway, so yes, let's smell this. Vino, I want to, and Sean or Asher, I want to know Sean, do you not have this rum? Sean Panabaker, you don't have this rum?
I'm sure you agree that out of the 3, actually, I think that this one has the least intense nose, despite it being the most intense ABV.
Yes.
But
it is.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, I think this is one that that would be good to just like let it sit, like pour it in the dram and let it sit there for a little bit and open up. You could try it. You could try it right off the bat, but it seems like it needs to sit there for a little bit and just kind of open up and see what comes forward. But definitely, I mean, like when you smell it in the bottle, when it's just, from here, and you've had a bottle for a little while, which I have, it definitely, straight from the bottle, you get caramel. I get caramel. I don't get a funk.
No,
Do you?
not very much. Like it's very subtle. Yeah.
So for me, like that Dr. Bird, that's funky.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I don't think you have this one, but you should, Dave. You really
Oh,
should. This one is funky. Your rum bar is that you have. Your rum bar that you have. That's super funky.
Say the name.
Oh yeah.
They can't say anything.
Oh, so this is called. I'm sorry. This is called. I don't know if you can see that. Probitus. It's backwards. I know, but
Oh yeah.
it's a white rum that's a blend of coffee still and pot still rums.
Sure.
So it's really super funky. But I have heard other people, say that this rum, Smith and Cross, is really, they're like, wow, it's so funky. And I will say that when I first got it and I first tried it, I did think it was really funky. But after you move into some different, especially with like a Bourbon Court White or the rum bar, or like I have a rum called the Funk that I was telling you about. That's really super banana super funk.
Yeah.
But once it's sat here for a second,
funkier than Appleton for sure. Like you're responding to the comments here. Like it's going to be funkier than your average Jamaican, but certainly not as funky as extra funky, gold Jamaicans. So.
Oh, look at Bino there with the hogo. He said it's high hogo, So yeah. So that's kind of hogo is kind of banana or like funk is a term for funk.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to send him a sample of my Probitus and see what he thinks. Yeah. But when it opens up a little bit, in the dram, it is a little bit more funky, but I still get, more alcohol and caramel.
Absolutely.
Is that what you would agree?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna try this.
All right, I'm going in.
So whoever has it, please try this with us.
Oh my God. Woo! Navy strength. Hello. Oh my
Through
God.
the nose.
Yeah. Yep.
It's funny because it's like that first sip is just like musty.
Burn your face off, man.
Does it taste musty to you?
It's just a cute burn to me going in.
Cute burn.
And so
the sinuses are clear.
Yes. Yeah. I love whenever Vino says some bitch. Oh, you definitely want to let that some bitch open up a little bit. Toss that one in the comments.
Yeah.
There we go. Now that the palate is adjusting, I can actually start to pick some stuff up.
Yeah. I can pick up, it's sort of woodsy or barrely. It's caramely.
Yep.
So if you're...
almost like a burnt caramel.
Mm-hmm. I know we're on a little bit of a delay with the comments, but I'd love to hear in the comments what your notes are that you pick up if you're trying this with us.
Here we go.
It's almost like it's spicy, obviously. It's almost kind of, it's not like Scotch peaty, but I think that's what I was picking up at the beginning, like when I said musty.
Okay.
So Asher says, in addition to the classic flavors, I'm picking up a touch of grass, which is interesting. Like there might be a little cane juice rum in the blend. Grass. Do you pick that up? Dave,
not necessarily. Yeah. Yeah, not necessarily for me, but I could see that happening. By the way, cheers to Gnome's Tavern. Thanks for joining. They got to head out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for coming and all your support. It's just really invaluable. We love you guys. Thank you. I can see that. I could see where it's kind of grassy, not like an agricole,
right.
Not like an agricole is really grassy, but I don't
Asher
think
says
he's no. I
could be
I
undelusional.
don't think you're delusional. No. I kind of get like let me try it again. Almost like a there's definitely a barrel kind of char there for me. There's kind of a leathery note, almost like a
Oh,
maybe a maybe a tobacco. It's not
mm.
that deep
Oh
though.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get citrus. I don't just on the sip, I don't get banana. I don't get that banana
Yep,
funk.
I agree.
Do you?
No, it is. It's all. It's like that burnt caramel butterscotch flavor to me, like a charred
Mm-hmm.
caramel butterscotch.
Charred, yeah. So that's
Yep.
where that's I think I agree. Like maybe there's dried orange there somewhere, but like I
Yeah.
definitely get a bit of caramel, mainly spicy, um, the barrel sort of that finish you were just talking about, like that charred finish, really lingers on my tongue.
Vino
At the
says you get a touch
at
of
the end.
wet wood.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's true. I mean, it does. I definitely. It's strange because you open it up, you're like, wow, it's so caramely and funky, and then you try it
Mhm.
on the and as a dram, and it's
That's
like, wow, it tastes like the barrel. It doesn't have any fruit coming out of it.
Yep.
It does kind of have a caramely flavor, but it's again, like the Hamiltons, like it shines through. That caramel flavor, I think, really comes out more in a
Yep.
cocktail.
Yeah.
Plus it's an
Absolutely.
overproof, so I mean, what it's a lot to ask. Like, I want my overproof to have caramel and molasses. It's like a lot to ask. You're going to get more of
Yeah.
that alcohol flavor in there. So Vino says, what's interesting about Smith and Cross
Yeah.
is the way it evolves when mixed. That's true. And it starts to express itself differently. You do start to pick up that ripe banana. And I would agree. I
Definitely.
definitely would. That's why I used to make my painkillers with it. Because it was like, you got the banana funk, you really got a caramel note. And I would split that with Appleton or something else. And it really makes it pop.
Surely.
Thank you for coming, Bonnie. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. And have a good Sunday. We will see you next time. So what do you think? Shall we make
Do it.
a
Yeah.
cocktail with us? Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're going to make something that Dave and I discussed. Wasn't it like Navy Week 2 weeks ago or something like that?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So we want to use a Navy strength rum. Go ahead.
Yeah. Then we're going to basically do a riff on a blood and sand. We're trying to figure out a way to utilize a Smith and Cross and something that might play with other ingredients. And so we're going to swap out the usual Scotch/whiskey component of a blood and sand, swap in the Smith and Cross. We're going to call it a blood and sea instead.
Yes.
And,
yes, which this was all Dave's creation, Dave's idea. So let's see. Let's see how it rolls here. Let me grab my stuff. Oh, I guess I had it here. Okay, so we're just, it's a classic blood and sand. Yeah. So what?
Vino, not a fan. That's a so drink.
So so let me just say that yeah, I would agree, Vino. I don't well I know that Dave really likes the blood and sand, but I am just learning more. I'm just sort of coming to Scotch a little bit more and the peatiness of that. And so when I put the penicillin on my channel, probably last winter, I guess, and the way that I went to this bar in Bend, Whiskey Still, and in Bend, Oregon, and this cocktail was amazing. And it was a penicillin. So when I had that, I was like, oh, wow, Scotch is really interesting. So now I have 2 or 3 different Scotches, and I'm just kind of diving into that every once in a while. So Scotch isn't my big winner like rum is, but it is an interesting thing to try. And it's diverse too, from very little peaty to all the way to super, super crazy peaty. So I would agree with Vino. It's not something that I have ever sought out or ordered, but you have, right, Dave? You like this cocktail a lot. The Blood and
There's
Sand,
actually two. Yeah, there's 2 different bars in LA that feature it. One of them actually is, and we'll see if Vino punches me in the face for this one. But
hang on just a second. Thank you for coming.
Oh, yeah.
Old Fashioned Ways. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think the bar in which the Blood and Sand was invented is actually just about a 10-minute drive from where I am right now. And
wow.
So I always love ordering it when I'm there, just for the pure history of it. But Tiki Tea also does a version of the Blood and Sand at their bar. They do a crazy one there, and it's always really nice there. So like, I guess I probably like that drink just because of the associations I have with it in that regard. But we'll see. Hopefully this works.
Fond memories.
Yeah,
okay.
Fond memories.
So we're going with 3/4 of an ounce of blood orange juice, and if you don't have that, then you can use red orange juice, like my friend Dave.
Yes.
So
there I go.
I searched high and low in my area, and I got some blood orange juice and squeezed it earlier. So I'm going to use that. So it's equal ratios of
equal parts.
Equal part cocktail, 3/4 of an ounce of blood orange. And then we got sweet vermouth, which I don't use very much vermouth anymore, but I got these tiny little, they're 50
baby
mils.
version of this. Yeah.
Yes. I got this at Total Wine when I was in Carpinteria down below Santa Barbara, because I camped down there. And they're perfect because, like, who can really go through? What's yours? 350?
I do a 350 mil. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can you really go through that?
Unless you're making Manhattans every night.
Yes. They're probably counting on that. Like, anyway, I picked this up at a Total Wine. Super great. So yeah, 3/4 of an ounce of that. Now we got cherry herring. This has been kind of a mainstay on my channel for this last week, and I'm using it a lot. If you don't have cherry herring, I kind of think you could substitute Chambord. Am I wrong? Anybody want to comment on that? They're very close. I mean, one's raspberry, one's cherry, but I think it would be fine if you experimented. Why not experiment and see? They're very viscous, both a little cough syrupy, 3/4 of an ounce. And then up next, we have our Smith & Cross.
The hero. Yep.
The hero, yes. 3/4 of an ounce. I mean, this might sound kind of weird, but I like the way that their cork sounds. Like, it sounds like you're really drinking from a bottle of rum, where some of them are just a twist off, or they just, I don't know. It's a great, and it's like an old fashioned, looking bottle.
I love it.
So
Absolutely.
3/4 of an ounce.
Yep.
And then some ice.
Yep.
That's probably a little too much. All right.
Perfect.
Wish we had your music here
I know.
to shake with.
Oh well, just sounds cool.
Do it, Dave.
There we go.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right.
All right. get our little coupe here.
Chilling like a villain. I have.
Did you
mine
chilled your coupe?
chilling like a
So
villain
good.
down in an ice box down there.
Wow, that's
So many
such a
Beano
great
shoutouts.
color. Super full.
All right, here we go.
All right, I even have my little dehydrated lime to go in
Oh
there.
yeah. I actually got some inspired by your channel. I was like, I gotta get some of those. Yep.
Yeah, you probably can get them a little readily. Look at that. I can't tip it because it's really full, but there it is. It's very frothy. It's very frothy. Yeah. Okay, let's try it.
All right, cheers.
All right, cheers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It works better than I expected. I mean, it does help, in my opinion, a lot. It's an overproof. I think that when you're up against a drink killer like orange juice, it can, which can mute the flavor of a cocktail. I feel like an overproof spirit can really help to combat that problem. So, but what do you think?
Well, I didn't. I'm
hate
not
it.
trying. No, it's you're all. Hey now, don't you be saying nothing bad about my cocktail. So I will say that I find blood orange to not be remarkable.
Yeah.
Any silence? It doesn't have like a sugary element that the cocktail might need. So I think you're probably, I mean, you're tasting a different cocktail than I am because you're using, that's a little bit more brighter and sugary. It looks, I don't think, it kind of falls short for me in that department. But
sure,
the Smith & Cross, the choice of the Smith & Cross really does help a lot because then you've got some caramel notes where we were talking about before, where that stuff kind of comes through, oddly enough. I don't get barrel notes or anything like that. I'm getting, I don't get funk either. Do you?
No, not necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it makes me think if I put Dr. Bird in here.
Oh man.
And I split the base with something else.
Oh yeah.
It would be crazy good. And I'm not saying that it's not good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's because if you do not like a blood and sand, you might like this instead. And if you use the orange juice instead of the blood orange, which I find to be just a little watery, I guess. It doesn't have like a strong citrus flavor to me, which I'm always looking for. So what do you
I totally
think?
agree. I think that, well, it's fun, like and people can comment on this, I'm sure, but like a regular blood and sand, you have, in my opinion, you have like three components that are battling with each other in an interesting flavor battle, where you have normally the orange juice and the cherry hearing together are combining for like a pretty potent citrus sweet component. Right. And then the vermouth is going to bring in the bitterness, and then that counteracts against whatever you've chosen for the spirit, basically. Whoa. So, and so in this case, it's interesting to me because even though Smith & Cross is overproof and doesn't necessarily have like the sweetness that something like Dr. Bird might carry with it, it does get enhanced by the other sweet elements of it. It is rum, so it is inherently sweet anyway. But it's interesting to feel it lean in that direction instead of the usual Scotch whiskey component that goes in there. Yeah.
I mean, since I don't drink, that's something I never order as a blood and sand. I've had them at home a few times, and maybe I'm using like the wrong scotch, but not my go-to, something I order all the time. But I can see where the scotch, it overpowers, like you said, the cherry herring. It sort of tames all that stuff down, so it's not going to be so peat, but it's going to be
Sure.
But I don't know. Do you when you drink a blood and sand, do you pick up the cherry notes?
Yeah, just a little bit. And it really is like, I think whenever I have a blood and sand, normally I actually forget that the vermouth is in there, and I focus more on but it may also be that the vermouth and the herring themselves are creating like a solid flavor to me, and something that's like a little more velvety and smooth, whatnot, basically, versus the normally potent effect of a scotch. So.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah. But yeah, and not that I order them all the time, but and it's funny, like you go to some place like Tiki Tea and they're going to make it differently, where the one there is very sweet in my opinion, and then you go to the Dresden, which is supposedly where it was created, and that one tastes definitely more on the bitter side, and it's more like, it feels more like drinking something like a rusty nail, where it's not that bitter, but definitely a little more on the bitter side. Yeah.
I have Famous Grouse. I have a LaForge 10, which I feel, for a beginner is a good place to. Maybe it's not. I saw that Stefan said, I should get some samples, and that he really likes the Isla smoke. But I have one other one. Which I can't remember at the moment because I don't use it that much. But it's definitely, I think, an acquired taste, and smoky things. Hey, Andrew from Angry Cocktails is back. Yay! And he's having some soup. Thank you for coming back. This is great. But anyway, on the cocktail itself, as I sip it, it's getting a little. It's developing more flavor. Do you find that
a little bit?
On this one?
I think like it may also be because I knew a little bit what to expect going in. But I mean, this is the first time I ever tried this with a Smith and Cross, and it was fascinating for me to. For me, it was like, oh, it's a blood and sand, a little sweeter, and with a stronger kick on the very end of it. Basically, was my takeaway. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because the vermouth and the cherry herring seem to be like really connecting together for me. It's like I can taste fruit, and then the vermouth is kind of that kind of base. It's kind of stone fruity, even though it's not stone fruit. You know what I mean? Like actually this Antica, it's sweeter than most, and it's just like, it just kind of has a stone fruit vibe for me. But I have Monkey Shoulder, Stefan. I don't have any Glenfiddich. I don't think I have any of that, but that would be a good one to add. I have some. Yeah, that would be a good one to add, I think. But yeah, it's just kind of like that's kind of what I'm getting more than the Smith and Cross is the vermouth, and it seems kind of watered down. It could just be because they're blood oranges. Who knows? But
blood oranges.
But I get the vermouth, and the cherry herring, and then it has a nice finish. For me, it does have a vermouth finish.
Sure. I definitely pick up on that.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I think it's like, what a great great find. Good job, Dave. Pat yourself on the back for that one. It's a great find.
There you go.
I actually did try this with regular orange juice the other, like when we were talking about it last week, and I kind of liked it better, to be honest.
Right.
It's sort of a little sweeter and just a little, I don't know, maybe it was just a little nicer. I liked it, I think, better. So maybe you should make a video about this.
Oh yeah, there we go. Well, there we go. Future video.
Come on, it's your.
Yeah, I have. I finally have in the future of Cocktail Fridays here. I have my the episode after this upcoming one is the first time I'm doing an original cocktail, and incidentally, it was unbelievably. I competed in a sort of a low-key bartending competition, and where you had to invent an original cocktail, and I won. I got first place. And
wow!
So the episode that I'm going to be doing coming up is basically, it's like, okay, let's take a look at the drink that I actually made live when I was doing the competition, and now let's try to make one that's better, because I think that I could have made something a little better. But anyway, maybe I'll fold this one into the Cocktail Fridays foray in the future.
So what was the cocktail that you made for the competition?
I
don't know if you've like Gnome's Tavern. He's like he's amazing. He's making all these cocktails for competitions, and so is Carl. Carl from oh Jesus. I've had too much to drink. From Alchemix Bar.
Oh,
He just entered the Mr. Black contest.
Oh,
he's
that's right. He's like in the final
done
round,
really well.
right?
So
yeah.
So what was your cocktail?
Yeah. First of all, very kind words in the comments. I'll just say thanks to all that. But so thanks everyone. It's funny. The actual I had to write it all down because I knew that in the moment I would probably forget everything. And it basically it was one of those like Iron Chef style. I'm sure all cocktail competitions probably are similar. I've been to a couple of them just as a spectator, and they do usually in the final round they do the old like Iron Chef style thing where they have like all the ingredients, and then they lift and they're like, here you go, here's what you have to, and then you have X amount of time to survey it and figure that I'm going to make this out of that and this out of that. And
wow.
Remember when I looked at the whole lineup, I was like, oh my gosh, they have a lot of they have at least one Barbados rum, and then they had velvet falernum and cinnamon syrup. And so my thought was to try to take advantage of like the spices that are in things like velvet falernum. And and so I can't, I'll share the pours later. I don't have them on the top of my head, but it was basically like I think I ended up using Mount Gay because that's what they had, and so it was like a Barbados rum plus falernum plus cinnamon syrup, plus I want to say lime in there just to add a little bit of citrus, and then Angostura bitters on the top as a float. So like I did it in a Collins glass and then crushed ice and then floated the bitters on the top, both for aroma and for visual effect. So. But I think that's what I thought. It was a 5-ingredient drink. But well, anyway, I'm doing a very bad job of recounting the sale.
That's okay. We've just had a Smith and Cross and drank 3 other ones, so it's okay.
But
that's amazing. Congratulations. That's really
thank
cool.
You. Yeah, it was fun.
I love that.
That was in Long Beach. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to me that anybody can, enter a competition and just take it or come in the top 10. It's amazing. There's so many great.
I was terrified. I remember entering that contest and being terrified because I remember when I entered it, you don't know who your competition is, and then when I actually showed up, I got to meet everybody right away. It was like, oh, we're all going to be competing together. And I remember one of the guys, I was like, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing, and. I walked up to him and I was like, hey man, like, how's it going? And we started talking. I'm like, oh, like, yes, you run your own brewery and you do like cocktail nights I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. and it just worked. That dude actually came in second place, and so I was like, well, and I remember thinking in the end, I was like, oh my gosh, like
Hi.
I said, I really probably lucked out at the very end and eked out a victory over that dude. So, but anyway,
That's funny.
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
funny. You should definitely, I mean, from the comments that I'm reading, people want to see that.
Okay.
So, I mean, even if you posted that on Instagram.
Yeah, I just
Go
got
ahead.
my hands on the official, I got my hands on the official video from that event the other day. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'll have an episode where I'm going to cut in some of the official video from the competition happening and then actually talk about the cocktail. So,
That's so funny. That would be great. I mean, yeah, people would love to see that. That's funny.
Cool.
I would like to propose, because I told Matt from Iceman cook, which I know he can, which I've said before. That's a lie. I know you can cook. I'm thinking about making the quarantine order. Do you have grapefruit juice?
I was just gonna say, I do. I actually have it. I'll have to step away from this frame for a second, but I do have it. Do I have everything else? Is my other? I don't have the recipe right in front of me.
Signature. You have that lime juice, grapefruit juice, cinnamon syrup.
Yep.
Passion fruit syrup, Angostura bitters.
Got it.
You're good to
Let's
go.
do it. Okay.
So let me just. Okay.
I'm gonna vanish for one.
I'm gonna tell everybody else here. Okay, vanish.
Okay,
it's cool.
Sorry.
You're gonna need rum, which you could substitute your Dr. Bird for if you wanted to, which would be interesting. I'm sure it would be very flavorful. And then if you have any Appleton, just sub that. If you have Signature, or you have the Signature or the Reserve, sub that. And then you're going to need lime juice. You're going to need grapefruit juice, which I know you have. Cinnamon syrup. You're going to need passion fruit syrup. And then Angostura bitters. So I need to juice some grapefruit juice. And I'm going to do that. So I'm running around here for my stuff. I think I have everything else here. You generally make this in.
Oh, right.
Let's see. A little snifter, but which I don't know if everybody can see this, but this is my favorite. I just love this pattern. It's a bamboo pattern snifter. I also have those pills. I did the toucan dance in that one, and I made the Polynesian pearl in this one. So into a brandy snifter, but have that. I'm sure rocks glass would be fine. Let's see. You're going to need some crushed ice. So I'm going to juice my grapefruit real quick. Just hang in there with us for a second here. I think I have everything else out already. So it takes an ounce of grapefruit juice, and I can generally only get the red grapefruits where I live, but I learned a hack for this because the white grapefruits are a little more bitter than the red ones, right? So if you have grapefruit bitters, you can dash a few dashes of grapefruit bitters, and that makes up for, like, if you just have the red, put a couple of dashes of grapefruit bitters in there, and you got white, basically. So I'm going to do that. Grab these, and I'm going to strain my juice here real quick. So it's an ounce of grapefruit juice. Let's see.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay.
Yes, it's funny.
So let me gather my stuff.
The irony is going to be, even though this cocktail is featured on my channel, you're going to need to read the recipe to me as we make it together, because I don't have it right.
Yeah, no worries. Sure. Move some stuff out of the way here. So I need So we're gonna go with our Hamiltons, right? And then our lime juice.
Yep.
I've got to rinse my shaker. And then, so Matt, please let me know if in the comments. Let's see. I don't have passion fruit syrup, but I have fashionola. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, try it. I think that would totally work. I mean, yeah, passion fruit fashion totally work. So, and then let's see, where's my, okay, cinnamon syrup.
let me know when you're ready to start, and then that way I'll be toe to toe with you on the ingredients here.
Okay, I need to get some. Do you have crushed ice for you?
Nope.
Dave?
I'm gonna go with. I'm basically gonna do a shake and a dirty dump, and that'll be the closest I can get on that. So, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
We're
let me get some. It's all right.
we're flying. We're doing this improv at the end here.
Yes, flying by the seat of our pants. Yes, that's fine. Okay. So let's do it. I will try it next. I just want a cocktail before you started that. Oh, what? Okay, sorry.
Ace man, this is for you.
Yes, this is for you. Dump that shit.
Just drink 2 drinks at the same time.
You can try that later.
You can double fist it.
2. Yeah, I know you have some Surfside Sip straws. Oh, that was a question I was going to have for you, actually, Dave.
Yeah.
Do you? So I see, like in some of your videos, you're just using like a plastic straw. Do you have? Surfside Sips. Yeah?
I do. It's funny you mentioned that. I just said that to my wife the other day. I was like, what we need to get is Surfside Sips. And I'm like, Ann talks about it all the time. I should probably just get some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's a company that not very far from me, actually, on the coast of California.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And the guy that owns it is just super nice. And you can become an affiliate if you want on his website. But yeah, I mean, like he'll make straw. I mean, he's making amazing stuff later. But anyway.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
Let's start.
Do it.
Okay. You got your Angostura bitters?
Yep.
You got your little Japanese shaker there? Or your little, so
I got everything ready.
we need 5 dashes of Angostura. Wait, are you going to this with us?
Oh yeah, let's
just
wait
need to
for
know
Matt
that before
maybe.
we start. Yes, let's wait for Matt.
No.
We're waiting for you, Matt. He says, "I'll try it." Because I just made it. Yeah. So Andrew from Surfside Sisters is great. This is what Stefan says. Can straws? Yeah, you want? Yeah, like he made me this. Let's see. So he made me this swizzle stick. I'm sure you've seen it on my channel. And I was like, I have this idea of like this swizzle stick that's like made from, looks like an octopus kind of.
Yeah.
And he detail in there and everything. And we went through a couple of them before he sent me this, and it is incredible. I love it. And this mug is from another guy that's on Instagram that his name is DS Edwards, and these amazing mugs and super cheap. And like this is matte, and then this is gloss, and they're the Lost Tiki Toa series, and his third one, and it's amazing. But anyway.
All right. Matt is ready.
Yeah, I would. Okay, Matt, you have all the ingredients? We'll just assume that you do. Okay, so 5 dashes of Angostura bitters. Okay, 5 dashes.
That's it.
You probably need a little bit more with your Japanese shaker there.
Yep.
Cut.
Perfect.
Then we're going to need about half an ounce of passion fruit syrup.
Perfect.
Okay. Which this is the first time I've actually made this cocktail. I've had it. I've had it on my to-do list for a while. Super exciting. Okay, and then
I hope you like it.
So half an ounce cinnamon syrup.
Yep. Oh, I just had it. There's a second ago.
I always make really powerful, and I do have a video about cinnamon syrup, and then when I tried it after I made it, it just wasn't powerful enough. And I ended up putting like a couple in and a couple and some powdered cinnamon, and it really really makes it. It really makes a difference. And then you have to like triple, quadruple strain it. But I do like it kind of powerful. I don't like it when it's not very powerful. Okay.
Indeed.
Next. So 1 ounce of grapefruit juice.
Okay.
Good? Everybody good?
Yep.
Good? Matt, you following along? Let us know in the comments. And then 1 ounce of lime juice.
Okay.
That seems like a lot to me, but
it does seem like it.
I didn't grab this recipe from your channel. I actually, because you did this cocktail on your channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed it from Punch.
Oh yeah.
So
Punch basically they did a cover of what is it, up in San Francisco, of Pagan Idol. So they did a story on them.
Idols, yeah.
They included this recipe. All right.
Okay, so next we're gonna have so we're gonna split this base because it's 3 ounces of rum. So it's 1.5 signature, and if you have, a reserve or another Appleton, use that. 1.5. Wow, what a great one to end on.
Yeah.
Powerful. Okay. So 1.5 signature. And then we have 1.5 of Hamilton.
Awesome. Hamilton Gold, right?
Yes, Hamilton Gold. But did you substitute this in your video?
I think I actually used Hamilton Gold in the video. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I actually specifically got this for that particular one. Yeah.
Okay. So 1.5. Matt, do you have Hamilton's Gold? No pressure. Yes. Same. Yes. If you don't, let's see. I'm waiting for Matt to tell us if he has Hamilton's Gold. Got my little brandy snifter. It says with a mint sprig or a cherry or a lime wheel.
That's right.
So I'm going to grab my mint, but I will say that I think, and you can tell me, you guys can tell me in the comments, like mint, nutmeg, cinnamon, anything like that, definitely, especially mint, even in a class, makes a huge difference in what you're experiencing at the top. You know, like
absolutely,
it's really good to have mint available. If you don't, who cares? I have
never
Hamilton
my
Beach
time
Bum
without
Berry
mint ready.
Zombie Blend. So Dave, can you recommend something for Matt? He has Beach Bum Berry Zombie Blend, which I don't know that I would use in here.
Yeah.
It's gonna be I'm gonna grab a straw.
Yeah, it depends on. I mean, I don't know what Matt has available, but God, if
So
you don't have
something that would
impart,
take the place of the gold pot. So
for me personally, it's like if you don't have it available, just grab another Jamaican because it's the closest you're going to get to a gold. You know, it's not perfect, or you could use the zombie blend, but I would reduce it to be 1 ounce, not 1.5 ounce. Denizen.
so what
work.
Denizen?
Oh my gosh, you have Denizen? Definitely use Denizen. That's going to work.
But
yeah.
What do you have, Matt? This is like Matt's feed here.
What
do you have,
I
Matt?
think he,
Which Denizen
I
is
think
it?
he went out and got Denizen at one point. So if he has Denizen, go 1.5 Denizen.
Stefan said, close your eyes, reach out and grab a rum. I love that. Kind of, yeah.
I'm almost positive Matt has Denizen. I think he posted about it on his Instagram at one point.
Yeah. Okay, well, dump that in there and shake it up.
There it is. Already out of the Denizen.
Okay,
all right.
Great.
6:15-ish. Also just sounds cool.
Go ahead and shake it up if you're ready. Yeah. All right. So I will say that I'm using the elevated craft, but for a female, I know that Vino has this. It's hard because it's like, I don't know, it's large and you have to breach it first. Like, really, the strainer in the top isn't really, I don't know, it's not my. Okay, so get some crushed ice into my little mug here.
Just strain it in. That's right. You actually have the brandy snifter. I remember when I made this on the show, and I was like, "This is a big cocktail. It doesn't really fit into a double rocks."
I think and we love that. So I'm not encouraging you from talking about it. Well, I mean, I love that. I don't know about you, Dave. Okay. So, yeah, it's a bigger cocktail than my tiny snifter here. I mean, there's some actually left in my shaker. A bigger.
Yep. Yeah, I've got like a massive. Here we go.
Oh, you've got a double rocks there.
Yeah. There's the sidecar.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
That'll work.
Little Surfside sips. Wow, what a dessert area here. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Let me look through these really quickly. Okay. Don't sing. Okay. Aging myself now. 60 seconds. Well, if Bambi taught us anything, still. Okay. Anyway, they were talking amongst themselves, so it's hard to follow. So,
all right, here we are. Quarantine order.
Matt was making this with us. Try it. Let's talk about some tasting notes. Matt, give it a try if you haven't already.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh.
Oh man.
That's a good one. Yeah, for sure.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it has an interesting evolution, which you know I love in a cocktail. Like you get the grapefruit, you get this. I get cinnamon, grapefruit,
Yep.
sort of that. In there.
Yep.
I can because Kettle makes it with rum bar gold,
Oh my gosh.
which I don't have.
Crap. If I had known that, because now I have it. Oh
Have that?
yeah. Oh man, I should have done
Well,
that. Whoops.
We'll go get it.
Go get it.
We'll wait for it.
No.
Yeah,
It's already done.
Because I'm interested to hear what it would be like with that. Because you have the signature, and you could make it with the rum bar gold. Because I haven't tried the rum bar gold. It'd be interesting to get your take on it.
That's true. And then it's fun because I have the sidecar here,
got one
the original. So you will have to.
One in your hand.
Here, I'll set this one aside.
Bad influence.
Yeah, if people don't mind, you can talk amongst yourselves, make the drink with the other thing, and
Go get it. I'm interested here. Okay, so Matt, I want to hear what your thoughts are on the quarantine order with whatever you ended up making it with.
With Denizen.
Oh, Denizen. Thanks for the input.
With Denizen. All right. Again, I don't have the recipe. I'm gonna grab the recipe real quick.
So Sean, is that why you're on my channel? Because I'm a girl who's a little bit older. It just but it's too sweet with the fashionola. Okay, yeah, I agree. Maybe cut that back because you used half. Yeah. Maybe a quarter of an ounce would have been a little bit. That's a good observation. We'll see how Dave's goes with the proper ingredients, which I've got rum bar overproof instead because I've been using the rum fire overproof in Bray and Nephew because it's a lot more funky.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that rum bar overproof is funky as well. Is that true?
Super duper fun. It's extraordinarily funky. Yep.
Are you good? Do you need me to?
Oh no, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. Just have to find where I put everything. There we go. Cheers to everybody who's still with us on the show.
Yes.
And following along with us.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's getting kind of late. So Matt, you could maybe add a little simple syrup, or if you have a 2-to-1, you could add a quarter of an ounce of 2-to-1 and mix that in and see how it does. Just to bring up that sweetness a little bit, cut that tart fashionola.
Here goes the signature.
I don't get so Matt said that his cinnamon syrup is too spicy.
Ooh.
But definitely, I mean, that might be a matter of just a little bit of an overpour, unless your cinnamon syrup is like on. But
yeah.
But it's I don't get cinnamon.
Oh,
Mostly what I'm getting is that grapefruit.
interesting. For me, the cinnamon was the second thing I tasted when I slammed it. It was like I got the citrus up front, and then the cinnamon was the next thing I got.
Yeah, you definitely get the citrus
Oh,
up
man.
front.
Yeah, the cinnamon really punches for me. Whew. But I like you. I also do a very strong cinnamon here. Same reasons. Let me grab a glass.
So it's only 11:34 on a Saturday night. So if you're from Canada, you would know the boys are getting stinko and the girls are off to be. Oh, that's funny. So Stefan, your comment there about bingo and stinko. I'd be sitting with you guys getting stinko because I don't like bingo. And then I was also looking and grab some chili crisp and he may want to let Sparkle make the mecca. Oh, we're supposed to be going ba-da-ba-da, bum, ba-da-ba-da.
Oh, sorry.
Ba-da-ba-da, bum,
All right.
It's
Let's
okay.
see.
Don't over dilute it.
I imagine. I was gonna say, imagine right off the bat, the nose will probably be way funkier than the previous. All right, let's see. Quarantine order take 2.
See, I put mint on mine, and that's what you get. You know, when you smell it, is the mint, which is nice.
This is a little sacrilege, but
I don't know.
a lot of vessels. Put that there. All right, here we go. Thanks everybody for hanging in there. Stick straw in, and there it is.
Yay.
Quarantine order, rum bar edition. All right.
Yes, rum bar edition. Yes. Wait, before you taste it. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Have you made it with rum bar before?
Never.
Oh,
wow. Okay. Wow. So to me, the front and the end are different, and the middle is the same. So let's do one more time. But which is to say, before I go in again, is I taste more of like the funky rum on the back end. The cinnamon still punches pretty hard for me in the middle, but let's see.
Okay. It has just like a nice funky finish for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Way more than the other one. I get grapefruit on the front. I get the cinnamon in the middle. I get the funkiness on the end.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Because I get the grapefruit at the front, and the lime juice, probably the passion fruit as well, and then the cinnamon has like a. It's not like I'm like that's cinnamon syrup. There's just something spicy in there that makes you like go, oh, that's it's different, like an island spice.
Yeah,
makes sense because it's cinnamon. And then it finishes with a little caramel finish. But I like that. So it's funky, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I love that because I love an evolution of a cocktail. So you're getting the citrus fruit, getting what island spice is second, and then you're getting like a funk that finishes out last. That's great. I love that.
Yeah. Here we got Matt in the comments talking about his. He says, "I got the funky rum on the back end too. I'm really bad at this because I keep drinking Stefan's drink in between as well. So
Stefan,
I'm not getting as much of the grapefruit. but I wasn't happy with the one I squeezed, says Matt.
Yeah, it could make a
Wow.
difference.
It's like we made 4.5 drinks because we did this one at the very end. Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. All good. It's all in the interest of exploration and science, right? Cocktail
Yes,
science.
it's for science. That's exactly what Andrew from Angry Cocktails says. It's all for science. So let me ask you this: what do you think? These three rums. We've got Hamilton's. We started with Hamilton's, and then
Yep.
what was next? We had Dr. Bird.
Yep.
Put all my stuff aside here. And we had our Dr.
Yep.
And then we had our Smith and Cross.
Smith and Cross
Right?
at the end. Yep. Yeah.
So ladies, what's your? You go first. What do you think your favorite rum of the night is?
The stakes are I have to throw out the one that's my least favorite. To pour it down the sink.
I mean, it's no judgment on the distillery or yourself. I mean, these are all, yes, of course, these are all amazing rums.
They're all great.
We think they're very new to this one. And that's only because of you that I got this. So it's, what a great rum. But out of all three, what do you think?
I think so. It's funny. I was thinking about this because I cheated a little bit. I know you were going to ask me this question, and I halfway because going into this, I thought for sure that my answer was going to be Smith and Cross was my favorite because I have actually done a lineup of all three of these a couple weeks ago. I did, and Jess and I both did it. And when we did all three of them, we unanimously between two of us, we agreed that Smith and Cross was the winner. And now doing it tonight, I think that the thing that we did not count on was Jess and I didn't properly warm up before we did that. And so now looking back, I'm going to have to say, I think that the Dr. Bird is just like the most flavorful. Like your favorite.
I'm climbing the steps. Really, I'm doing the Rocky steps.
I think it has the most going on. Like it's not, it's perfect because it's like right in the middle. It's 100 proof. So it's got the burn, like the punch, the actual alcohol punch, but at the same time, it's very well rounded, It just flavor-wise.
Vino says he wants a recount. Okay, so let me say this, this is very interesting because like we talked about earlier, rum is a very diverse thing. And these are three very different rums. Even though they're all gold rums, they're very different, right? This is very caramely, in a cocktail, very caramely. Yeah. I think as a mixer, this is very middle of the road and it's going to be great in a lot of cocktails. And so like if you were a new person to rum, this would be great. What a great find, right? You could put this in a lot of things, a lot of tiki drinks, or even a lot of tropical drinks. Yeah. This one is overpowering. Yeah, it's not overpowering, right? Which this I don't think this is overpowering either, but it is an overproof. But this is like, it's not for beginners. It's got a different flavor. And so we're not beginners, right? I mean, you're not for sure. I mean, I'd say a middle of the road. So it's so hard to say, it's very subjective. But I'm going to go, obviously I'm going to go with Dr. Bird. You already knew that. So, sure, so I think, Vino, you got to get this Dr. Bird. Maybe I'll get your information and I'll send you a sample. But, they're just so different. It's hard to, but in a cocktail, mixing in a cocktail, this one, like, for me, it just shines right through and comes forward and has just such a unique flavor. It's got funk, it's got sweetness, it's bright, it's not diluted in the cocktail, but it's not overpowering depending on how you're using it. So I don't know. I agree. It's probably my favorite of the night. So the next question, it's good stuff. So the next, I'm reading the comments a little bit. So actually, I'm going to ask you in the comments, if you have, well, Vino only has Smith and Cross, so, and then I don't know if Matt has that or not, but what would be your favorite? Tell us in the comments what your favorite race 3 would be. Most people don't seem to have the Hamiltons, actually. What, and I didn't either, but I would say it's a great addition to my. So what about cocktails? Favorite of the night?
Amazingly enough, I think my favorite was the Siboney.
Really?
Yeah, I like it. I think the most because I think that it does the best job of showcasing the spirits. Whereas I think that the 37 Beachcombers Gold, which I really like that cocktail, but I think that just in terms of pure like being able to pick out all the flavors, I think that the Siboney is probably the best one.
Well, and 2, it's like how do I say, like the Blood and Sand was, or the Blood and Sea, like I said, was for me.
Right.
But that's probably because I used the blood orange in there. And then the Siboney, like if you, like I said earlier, if you actually infuse, you've got to get, Dave, come on.
Oh, you
have to get some Stiggins.
Yeah.
Pineapple.
Yep.
I mean, what are you doing? You gotta get.
And where I live,
and then
it's everywhere.
If you get it and just try it on its.
Every single store has it.
I know. Come on. So so if you get that and then you try that on its own, then you infuse that with more pineapple, even just a quarter with the whole and everything, and go for 2 days, infuse that. It's excellent. You can use it in a pineapple you can use it in an old fashioned, like a rum old fashioned, or a Negroni. Like you can do so much with it. It's just amped up, and it really boosts that pineapple level. It's amazing. So I mean I would say that for me, I would agree. I think that Siboney is just like, it's all fruit. It's a lot of fruit. I've even made that with instead of the pineapple juice, I've substituted the Chaffard's Caribe pineapple,
okay.
and it's super good like that too. So yeah, I would agree. It's really amazing stuff. Let's see. Bino says you have compared Stiggins to Dr. Bird pineapple. Yes. So Vino's asking if I have compared Stiggins to Dr. Bird pineapple, and I kind of addressed this earlier, but yes, I have. I got that recently, and I did not like it. The Stiggins pineapple is it has a, I don't know, it just really has a pineapple flavor and a funk, whereas the Dr. Bird pineapple does not. I found the Dr. Bird pineapple to be a little more ethanol than I hoped, but then I infused it with more pineapple and did a little infusion over a couple of days, and it really helped a lot. But I don't think that it compares to the Stiggins. I would say skip it, in my opinion. I wouldn't.
Right.
I would get that vermouth cask if I could.
Yeah.
From Dr. Bird.
I should send both you and Vino a little sample of the vermouth cast stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be really fun. And I've got some stuff that I could share as well. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody who has stuck with us. There's like a beef brisket conversation going on that we're not a part of.
A cheesesteak situation going on in the.
So
Yep.
we've been going for a little bit of time here, and I just really appreciate everybody stopping in and supporting both of our channels. I'm almost at 1,000. Well, I'm at 930 subscribers. I would love to get to 1,000 this year, and those are all organic subscriptions. So like I haven't done any other kind of crazy promotions or anything like that. So I really appreciate all of you sticking by both of us and supporting. It's just
Absolutely.
a really great community, this cocktail community, and we really, really, really appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. And if you guys want us to talk about else as far as another kind of rum in particular, please leave that in the. We will explore that. You know, if we feel like we've had a lot of things we want to do again, then we will do that. It's been a lot of me. I hope it's been great for you, Dave.
Oh yeah.
And yes, I'll have my. I'll have my sound and my camera fixed by the next time we do this.
Thanks for everyone for sticking with us through the darkness.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dave, for collaborating with me and being a part of this.
Thanks for having me.
I really consider you a friend, and you have so much more knowledge than I do. And I look forward to future lives with you. And go subscribe
and maybe in person.
to what's that? Say it again.
Maybe we'll see you in San Francisco or at Holly Pele in Portland.
That would be excellent. I mean, that could definitely be something that we could put together for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not just you and I. We could definitely fit a few people in here.
Yeah.
Wait. So, I bought the Chairman's Reserve today. You recommended. I'm down for discussion on spiced rum. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A future episode. Spiced rum.
Yeah. So great suggestion, Matt. I like that. We will discuss that amongst ourselves. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming to the end. I love you and I appreciate you. I'm just so grateful to know all of you in some little way, shape, or form. So Dave and mahalo, and let's end the stream, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Be well.
Cheers, everyone.